Hello and thanks for joining me. I'm in the workshop today, but I'm not working on any of the bikes. I'm here because I want to make a video about something that I actually feel quite strongly about, and that is fitting oversized tyres. This is something which seems to come up quite frequently on various different Facebook forums I'm on, particularly Harley Davidson's. It seems to be popular to fit oversized tyres on Harley Davidson's. Maybe popular on other bikes as well. Maybe I just see the Harley Davidson version because I hang out on more Harley Davidson forums. But as I said, I don't think it's a good idea. So I want to make this video to try and explain why I don't think it's a good idea. Now, when I say fitting oversized tyres, I don't mean fitting wider rear wheels. I mean fitting a larger tyre on your existing rear wheel. And so what I'm going to do is I'll move my camera and trying to get my camera in an overhead position where I can do some drawings, diagrams, where I explain the physics of tyres and hopefully explain to you why I don't think it's a good idea. So let me just get my camera rearranged and then I'll see if I can explain.
Right, so I've just switched to my overhead camera view, so hopefully you can see this diagram that I've drawn. Sorry, it's quite a crude diagram, but I'll explain what it is and hopefully you can see what it's all about. So what I'm trying to show here is the way that a tyre sits on a rim. So as I said, this video is about fitting oversized tyres. Now let's be clear, when I'm talking about fitting an oversized tyre, I don't mean fitting a wider rear wheel. That's an entirely different issue. So let's say that your standard rear wheel is a 180 and you change that for a 240 and you change the rim and everything, you know, the swing arm and everything. That's a different issue. What I'm talking about is, for example, having a rear wheel that is a 180 and then say fitting a 220 tyre on that 180 rim. That's specifically what I'm talking about. So this diagram that I've got here, the blue bit at the top there, that's supposed to show like a cross section of the rim, and then the black bit at the bottom is the tyre sitting in that rim. So there's a couple of things that I want you to see from this. Firstly, tyres are designed to fit in the rim, so the bead sits nicely within the rim and the walls of the tyre then align with the rim and sit properly. So if you see this, the wall of the tyre actually is quite straight. It's not twisted or bent, and I'll contrast that to the way it looks when you fit an oversized tyre. Okay, so what we've got here is what a proper sized tyre looks like on the rim. So if I then change to the second diagram I've done, and what I've tried to draw here on this second diagram is the same size rim but a larger size tyre fitted on that rim. So the first thing you can see there is that the tyre wall is actually concave, because in order to squeeze onto that smaller rim it's twisted round, so it's not the tyre wall is not sitting the way it should do. But also, because the tyre is then squeezed onto a narrow rim, the whole width of the tyre is squeezed in, and that changes the profile of the tyre, the profile of the bit of the tyre that runs on the road, the surface that runs on the road. So you can see it's got a much rounder profile, has this oversized tyre, and the diagram in comparison with the normal tyre. So what are the problems with this? What are the issues with this that I'm trying to get at? Well, firstly, this point here about it distorting the tyre wall, which, you know, potentially could be dangerous. The tyre can't function in the way that it's designed to function. It could actually result in the danger of the bead not seating properly within the rim, or it distorting, particularly when you're going around a corner, and the bead actually becoming off the rim. Another problem that you've got is, because the tyre is then twisted round into this, what you might call a tighter profile, tighter radius, it actually reduces the contact patch, the size of the contact patch on the road. And so ironically, fitting an oversized tyre, even though it's a bigger tyre, will probably give you less grip than having the standard size tyre, because by squeezing that tyre and increasing the profile, the bend in the tyre, you're reducing the amount that contacts the road. And I've tried to show this with the line. If I show you the diagrams again side by side here, and the line that I've drawn at the bottom here is supposed to be the road surface. So on the standard size tyre, we see we've got a fairly big contact patch there. But on the oversized tyre, fitted to the rim, because the tyre is squeezed round to a tighter profile, the contact patch on the road is smaller. So ironically, that bigger tyre is likely to give you less grip because you've got a smaller contact patch there. But the other thing that's interesting from the diagram here, and you see on both diagrams, I've drawn a line straight up, which is the bit of the tyre that would be touching the road if the bike was just going in a straight line. And then I've shown the bit of the tyre that will be touching the road if the bike is leaned over at a 50-degree angle, which is quite a high angle of lean. So you see on the standard tyre there, that takes the tyre towards the end of the tread, and so as the tyre will be designed for the bike so that you're getting towards the end of the tread there as you reach the end of the lean limit for the bike, so that the tyre is designed to work in conjunction with the bike like that. If you have a look at the second diagram, where we've got the oversized tyre, because that profile is squeezed round at that same 50-degree angle of lean, we find that not only is the contact patch smaller, but the tyre is nowhere near the edge of the grip pattern as well. Now you might say, oh well, that's good because that actually gives me more lean angle. Well, actually it's not good, because in likelihood you're going to be getting towards the end of the available lean in terms of clearance of the bike there, and so you're not using that full width of the tyre as designed. So if you've got oversized tyres like this, you're likely to have fairly large chicking strips at the side because you're simply just not using the full width of the tyre as you're supposed to, as it's designed to. So most people mistakenly think that if they fit a wider tyre on the bike, that it will give them more grip. But hopefully you can see from the diagram here that in fact it's likely to give you less grip. And also another problem that you've got is the wider the tyre, the greater the lean angle is required to go around the corner. Now I'm not going to start going into all the physics of this right now, but it's just with bikes with wider tyres, they are required to lean over much further just to get that, to get the bike round the corner at the same speed. And therefore, if you fit a wider tyre, you're actually likely to be having to lean the bike more and then having more clearance problems because you'll be running out of clearance, particularly on Harley Davidsons that don't have particularly good clearance. And that's why Harley Davidsons with really big wide round tyres generally not very good at going round corners. Another problem that you've got is because you're squeezing the profile there and changing the profile of that tyre, you then are going to end up with a mismatch between the front tyre and the rear tyre, and that's going to affect the cornering of the bike. You'll definitely notice that in the cornering. Now, the impact it has on the cornering ability, it may differ. I mean, the main issue, that, as far as I'm concerned, is you end up with a mismatch between the front tyre and the rear tyre, because the two tyres are designed to work together. So as you lean the bike, that sort of funnel effect that you get, which is what causes the turning on the bike, is going to be different between the two tyres. Ironically, by squeezing that profile and giving it a tighter profile, it might actually get the rear end to turn more quickly. But that doesn't necessarily mean better handling, because then the back end is turning more quickly than the front end of the bike, and that might actually cause feeling of the bike tucking in. Corner, you lean it over and it feels like it's tucking in, if you understand what I mean with that. So what I'm trying to demonstrate here, that there are a number of factors which are important in the handling of a bike, particularly the cornering handling of a bike, which tyre manufacturers take into careful consideration when designing tyres, which you were then throwing out. You're throwing those factors out when you try and squeeze an oversized tyre onto a rim. So that's why I don't think it's a good idea. But I will just, finish with a quick proviso on that, and that is that I think most people that fit oversized tyres don't go hugely oversized. So, for example, I know it's very popular to put a 200 tyre on a 180 rim. That's not actually a very big mismatch. That's not that much difference. And in actual fact, there are variances between manufacturers. So it's possible that one manufacturer's 200 is actually the same size as another manufacturer's 180. So I don't regard that as being a very big oversize. And because of that, it's just really not worth it. It's not worth it. I see no benefit in putting a 200 tyre on as opposed to 180. Just stick with the 180 and you will actually get much better handling from that. However, I do know people who fit oversized tyres and they reckon it improves the handling and good for them. So I'm just putting my points out there. So sorry for the rather poor diagrams, but I hope that there has been a clear enough explanation to get my point across. Thanks a lot for watching. Bye.